Morgan, and today I want to give my thoughts on Jane and the Unpleasantness of Scargrave Manor. So I have previously, about half a year or so ago, read Jane and the Man of the Cloth, which is the second book in this series, but I had not read the first one. And so I sent my sister to go and try and find this one when she was at the bookstore, and she managed to find this. So thank you to my sister for getting this book for me. And overall, I was pleased with it. I like it overall. I honestly feel like it's a bit better than Jane and the Man of the Cloth, and I think part of that is that there was actually like an editor's foreword that gave more context to kind of explain the perspective, and so I felt like that was much better explained in this than the second book, and I also felt that the pacing in Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor was a little bit better. Like, it was more consistently keeping me like hooked throughout. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, all of the buildup is in the second half of the book. It was more like there was interesting stuff happening throughout almost all of it, though to be fair, at the beginning it was a little bit confusing sometimes keeping track of who everyone was, but there was enough like drama happening to keep me hooked, like not just at one part, but all throughout the book. There was enough stuff, enough little peppers of mystery to keep me intrigued. And I thought that the author's writing style was very, very good. It is reminiscent of like a Regency romance novel in terms of like the language used and stuff, which I really liked. And I think the author was also witty. I'm gonna try and read you this part that I found especially entertaining. That is very well indeed. Mr. Mayhew's glance was penetrating. Friends, in my experience, are like ladies' fashions, Miss Austen. They come and go with the seasons, and are rarely of such stout stuff as bears repeated wearing. I'm glad to find you formed of better material. With that, he led us to his inner rooms, and I really love how the author's witty. Stephanie Barron really peppers in these bits and pieces of Austen-esque wit. Like, I feel like she's witty, she offers some insights into life, and occasionally will sporadically throw in some quotes from actual Austen works, which I really, really love. The one thing that I dislike about her writing style is that she uses the word alacrity so much, and it's it just feels like something that it is a little bit overused. That is my only complaint about her writing in this book. And, one of the characters who I was really confused about in the second book actually does show up in this first book, and it kind of helped me understand better who this character actually is. So yeah, and I feel I also wanted to say I liked all the characters in this book. I felt like there was enough information about them for me to feel sympathy towards almost all of them, and I felt like there was enough context to make them, I guess, not feel two-dimensional. They felt like three-dimensional characters, and I like how some of the characters I would say had depth to them. I don't necessarily know if I would say character growth based on the fact that the novel takes place in basically over a month, is when the majority of the stuff is happening in the novel. So there isn't a lot of room for character growth, but there are characters who start off being fairly two-dimensional but become much more three-dimensional by the end of it, much more relatable, much more likable and stuff. And I like how the novel managed to mostly wrap up all the loose ends. So it's there's the story itself feels contained within one book while still leaving room for a sequel with different characters, which I really liked. And I loved, one other thing that I really loved is Jane's cousin Eliza. I just thought she was such a brilliant character. I loved her. I love her. So yeah, I really did like Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor. If you're looking for something that's kind of a period piece, this is really good. I like how it had an active female protagonist. I think that's really, really awesome. And I love how it also sheds some light on the injustices of the justice system in 19th century like Britain. And I like how it doesn't shy away from touching upon the fact that, yeah, a lot of rich people who we might think of as like genteel, like some of them participated in really gruesome things like the slave trade. So I like how the novel like didn't shy away from some of the really gritty, awful things about history, especially the part where Jane briefly goes in to see Newgate Prison. And so like I loved a lot of the details, and there's a lot of like really how do I put this? The world building is really good, and there are a lot of historical, like, there are a lot of facts that are based in history, and I can tell that the author really, really did her research. So yeah, I think that this is great as like a piece set in the Regency period. I think it's really a lovely mystery work, and I think it's a really great work like by a woman author with a female protagonist. So yeah, I hope that this video inspires you to maybe read works that you wouldn't otherwise read, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!